We are celebrating Western New York this morning, and today, October 15th, is a day that Lucille Ball fans across the country are celebrating because it's National I Love Lucy Day.
October 15th, 1951, that's the day the sitcom classic debuted on CBS. So this morning, Daybreak's Pete Gallivan is taking us to Jamestown, Lucy's hometown, and the home of the Lucille Ball-Desi Arnaz Museum and the National Comedy Center.
7 decades later, and we still love Lucy.
Is timeless. It's still as funny now as it was 70 years ago. It's still watched in countries all around the world, and it still makes you laugh. There's nothing dated about that show.
But Gary Hahn tells me that it wasn't always smooth sailing. In fact, the Lucy and Ricky love story almost never made it to the small screen, partly because certain executives wanted the names to be Lucy and Larry Lopez, but also because of issues with ethnicity.
There was a point early on in the development of the show where CBS did not want Desi Arnaz to play Lucille Ball's husband. It was kind of a new thing to show that kind of multi-ethnic marriage on television.
To prove to the network that it would work, Lucy and Desi Arnaz took their show on the road, performing before live audiences in a vaudeville-style show, and people were just drawn to the couple.
It was very believable, and because it was a real marriage, and audiences loved watching the Ricardos every Monday night.
In fact, part of Lucy's motivation in making the show a success was actually to save her marriage.
Lucille was doing films and her radio show in Hollywood. Desi had his band and was traveling around the country, and I think they wanted to stay put, have a family, which they did. They had 2 kids, but they wanted to be together in one place.
Lucy and Desi did ultimately divorce, but not before making I Love Lucy a household name. First run and for generations through syndication. And today, the show and its stars are featured prominently here in Lucy's hometown at the Lucy-Desi Museum, where you can actually walk around on recreations of the show's set, and here at the National Comedy Center, where you can recreate one of the show's most iconic scenes. And this museum is as much of a reflection of Lucy's legacy as the show itself.
Jamestown wanted to have a museum celebrating her, celebrating I Love Lucy and Desi. She suggested at that point, I'd rather you have a cultural institution, a museum that celebrates all of comedy, not just my work.
As for today, nothing out of the ordinary is planned to mark the anniversary here at the museums, for one simple reason.
Every day is I Love Lucy Day in Jamestown.
That's absolutely right. Every day is I Love Lucy Day here in Jamestown. Yep.
Now, the museum's official shop is presenting an auction of rare and vintage Lucy, Desi, and I Love Lucy treasures and collectibles.
Yeah, that online auction runs through October 29th with all of the proceeds supporting the museum's nonprofit mission.